All right. Good afternoon, everyone. And Sabrina, thank you for a great Sunday afternoon song. All right. Why don't we jump into the second slide? Great. Thank you very much. So the theme of our presentation is similar with the theme of the whole investor meeting, flying forward while we look back. And why don't I start by telling you a little bit about myself, because I'm the newest member to the Minerco team. My name is Paul Hoonjan. I'm the CEO of Lazarus Holistic. We are a 3-year-old cannabis company based out of Jamaica. Our offices are in Runaway Bay. And I have recently joined the Minerco team as the president as well. And it all ties in together. And I'll go through, as I talk through the presentation, as to how it all fits in together. It's all part of our goal. A little bit about me, and I think there are some Canadians on the phone as well. I am born and raised in Toronto. Always wanted to head back to the Caribbean and back into Jamaica. So in 2004, I moved back to Jamaica to run operations down there. Lived in Jamaica for a number of years, and I have been going back and forth between Jamaica, Fort Lauderdale, where I have home, and Canada as well. And I'm always focusing on people. That's always my way of operating business, and it all really ties into keeping people healthy and communication. And in addition to that, health and wellness has always been a very important part of my life. I'm in my garden right now. I have a garden in my Fort Lauderdale house, and we have a huge garden as well as a farm in Jamaica. It's always live well and take care of yourself, mind and body. So that's a little bit about me. All right. If we move on to the second slide, or to the next slide, I'm sorry. What I want to go do is look backwards. And a key part of having a strong vision and a strong goal, you've always got to know where you come from and celebrate our history and our accomplishments. We know 2020 was a very challenging year with COVID. And even with the COVID challenges, we continued to move forward. It did provide some roadblocks for us, but what it did is it also allowed us to build a foundation that we were aiming to build in preparation for 2021. Here's an interesting story. So Jamaica actually shut down for COVID in March. It was right around March 8th. And I was on one of the last flights on that Sunday morning coming back from Jamaica into Fort Lauderdale. So COVID affected not only the U.S., our friends in Canada and Jamaica, all over the world. All right, so I'm going to go back to December 2019, where the new ownership group took controlling interest of Minerco. And as part of taking controlling interest, Minerco also started to put together the pillars and the goals of the business. The first goal is to grow, process, and distribute product. And I will get into why it's so important to own that whole chain as I get into the presentation. The second goal was to create and utilize a payment gateway technology for psilocybin and cannabis sales. And that one's really important because we still know in the U.S. that cannabis and psilocybin are Scheduled I drugs, and we are in a transition. Now, in addition to that, our payment gateway, our goal was to create one that is global, because we are a global company, and we'll get into why that is so important for us and as we progress through the presentation. And then the third, and this is a key point, is we want to be the wholesale point. And I say that because when you look at the people who are in the processing, that is probably where the biggest margin is and the biggest ability to make money. Okay? So 2019, we took ownership. In 2020, we made our first acquisition where we completed the acquisition of a 12-acre parcel of land in Portland. And if people know Jamaica, Portland is on the east coast of the island. It's a very, very beautiful part of the island. Okay? Now, we know what happened in March. March is when COVID hit. Well, COVID started hitting in January and February, but March is when everything really started to lock down. So, we are a nimble group, and we adapted. We weren't able to do a lot of what we wanted to do on the ground in Jamaica because of the restrictions. However, we were still able to really focus on our other goals, specifically on creating that blockchain token and starting that process, which in October 2020, we created the blockchain token, which is on the ETH platform to purchase cannabis and psilocybin products. Okay, so when you look at the three goals we had, that was the first one that we really had a big win on. Okay. Now, the other piece to it, between January and December that we were working on was getting through what we inherited when we took ownership. So there were a bunch of things that we were trying to do. Number one is we had to clean up the financials. And that ties in with the OTC. With our listing on the OTC, we had to make sure that the financials were clean and up to date. And then we also had to update the registration to put us as the new owners. And all of that takes time during normal times, but it actually took longer time because of COVID. Okay? So when we look at that, we acquired, we took the ownership, we set our goals, we cleaned up the mine listing to put us in good standing, and then we also cleaned up the financials. Okay? In addition to that, we had a busy 2020. We received approval for our coin SHRU on 7 exchanges. And if you go to our website, you go to our press releases, you will see additional detail on that. Okay? The next section is part of what I do. We entered into an LOI with Lazarus Holistic, which is known as LHG, for the potential Jamaican partnership. That is huge because Minerco is investing into Jamaica. And a main reason why is when you look at the marketplace and you look at Jamaica, Jamaica has some major things going for them when it comes to not only cannabis production, but psilocybin production. Jamaica is one of the only 2 countries in the world where mushrooms are completely legal. In addition to that, Jamaica also, when you have licensed crowdfund platform for capital raises as well. Okay, that is very important for us as we set up to prepare and we continue to do our raise in 2021. Okay. Now, the other piece we did, oh, wait, did you guys lose me? Can you hear me now? I'm going to step back because it sounds like you lost me and now I'm back. So I'm going to go through December again, okay? So December 2020, we did a couple of big things. We received approval on the coin SHRU on 7 exchanges. And if you go to our website under the press releases, you will see the details on the 7 exchanges. In addition to that, we retained an SEC registered crowdfund platform for our capital raise. The other thing we did in December, which is when you first met me, is we hosted the first Shroom Zoom with the CNN story that Lisa Ling did on psilocybin and the health benefits of it. Then the next thing we did is we entered the LOI with my company, Lazarus Holistic, on a potential Jamaican partnership. And that is critical, especially talking about Jamaica. Jamaica is in a great place for a number of reasons. Number one, when you look at psilocybin and cannabis, psilocybin, there's only 2 places in the world where psilocybin and psychedelic mushrooms and functional mushrooms are fully legal. Jamaica is one of them. Brazil is the other. Second thing is when you think about cannabis and Jamaica go hand in hand. Jamaica's always been known for great cannabis. And where the partnership with Minerco is so critical is within the Lazarus Farm, we have started to hybridize and produce our own strains. And with the science that Minerco brings, we feel that we can continue to increase specific strains that we will be able to grow on our own. And these will be a mix of North American strains and Jamaican strains. So we'll be able to produce new strains. A lot of these new strains that we're going to be focusing on are for health reasons. So being able to produce strains that help with high blood pressure, help with diabetes, day-to-day issues that we deal with globally, headaches, migraines, all that sort of stuff. So looking at it from a wellness standpoint, not necessarily just a recreational standpoint. In addition to that, when you look at the partnership, we've also got the science to produce novel strains of mushrooms. We just received our valuation report, which is available on our website as well. So we accomplished a lot in 2020, even with the challenges of COVID. Very proud of partnering. If I put myself on the Lazarus side, I'm very proud of partnering with a company like Minerco because of the science and equipment and the mindset of health and wellness they bring a lot to Lazarus. And this is going to be a strong partnership in producing the best product coming out of Jamaica. Now, another thing that's really important about Jamaica is the ability to export, where with the ability to freely export out of Jamaica to countries that have the ability to import, we are primed and ready to go. And then also from a location standpoint, with both products being Schedule I drugs in the U.S., we can still export to places like Canada, Europe, all over the world without going over U.S. airspace. So these are huge wins with doing business in Jamaica. All right. Now, this has set us up for 2021, and I want to go to the 5 goals we have for 2021. Yeah, if we can go to the 4th slide. All right. Now, I am going to jump to the 5th bullet because I think that's probably the biggest question on everyone's mind. When are we going to start generating revenue? Now, our goal, and this is a realistic goal, is that we will start generating revenue by August of 2021. We feel that we have the right team, we have the right recipe in order to achieve that goal. Okay? Now I'm going to go through the other 4 goals, which will then kind of tie into the 5th one. The first goal is to complete the capital raise of $5 million. We're going to start in February, and we should complete it by May. Okay? Now there's a piece to that that we've been waiting on, which is a federal regulation that we just received notification on, that we can start making that active in March. But we can actually start in February. We can raise up to $1,070,000, and then starting in March, we can go up to the $5 million. So we feel comfortable that we will be able to hit that goal. Our second goal, we will have our payment gateway available on Apple and Android. So make sure everybody's got a little calendar notice. Download our app, SHRU, for April 2021. Okay? I'm going to actually jump to number 4, and then I'm going to go back into number 3. So number 4 is our Jamaican expansion. Under that Jamaican expansion is to finalize the partnership between Lazarus and Minerco within the next 30 days. So in the first half of February, we are going to finalize that partnership in the form of an SPV or an SPAC. So we are working through that as we speak. We are working on that today. Okay? And then in addition to that, we are ready to order our equipment. And from the time we order our equipment, we are ordering it from Asia. It will take 80 days to land in Jamaica for us to clear. Now, in the meantime, and this is why I wanted to go to number 4 first and then go back to number 3, we can start growing in Jamaica in February. And that's important because once we finalize the partnership, the next day we will start growing. What this does is it allows us to have cannabis ready and mushrooms ready for production once the equipment lands and is set up in Jamaica. Okay? And we believe that we will order the equipment in February, it'll be set up, and we will be ready to take that raw product and start producing our micro tablets by July, which gives us more than enough time to generate revenue in August. Now, there's a couple of things I do want to talk about when it comes to generating revenue. There's an interesting fact that I want to share with everybody. Okay, so did you know there are approximately 448 grams of psilocybin mushroom in a pound? And a pound of mushroom sells for about $1,000 a pound. Our microdots contain about a tenth mushrooms or consumption of cannabis, there's still that stigma about taking raw mushrooms and actually eating them, and then also smoking cannabis. What we want to do is we want to put both products, again, separate tablets, into microdots. This way, people can take them as part of their day-to-day to help deal with day-to-day problems that they have, like we were talking about headaches, like stress. What gets into our daily stress, our daily activities. Our whole goal as a health and wellness company is how do we use psilocybin and cannabis to make people's lives better. And we strongly believe, and it's in our strategy, and it's in our DNA, both Lazarus side and on the Minerco side, that consuming microdoses of psilocybin and cannabis in a safe way is going to allow people to do that. Now, going back to that, we can produce 4,480 microdots for every pound of mushrooms. So if you do the math, it's about $1,000 in mushrooms will generate about $21,000 in revenue. I'll repeat that. So $1,000 of mushrooms will generate $21,000 in revenue. That is a huge win. And we will get there starting August 2021. So I'm excited. I am very excited. Excited as the CEO of Lazarus that I have a strong partner with a great vision and a solid foundation in Minerco. I am also extremely excited to be joining Minerco as the president of the company. Now, the other thing I'm excited about, and I'm going to leave everybody with this thought, or with this invitation. I want to do quarterly reviews with you every quarter. That's why they're called quarterly reviews. I'm aiming to have the third quarter review in Jamaica on our facility, and I invite you all there. So we will be live streaming it, but hey, if you can come to Jamaica in the third quarter and join us, I'd love to see you there. All right, so we went through a lot. Minerco has a very bright future. We did a lot in 2020. We are moving in the right direction in 2021. We strongly believe we have the right team and the right partnerships to achieve our goals in 2021. And again, once we got that date in Q3, I invite you to come down and meet me in Jamaica at our farm so we can do our visit. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for your time. I really appreciate you taking a Sunday afternoon to meet with us. And looking forward to the next meeting. Goodbye, all.